it changes, it varies, it tends to vary on the island, who's using what and what age, and your age appears to be dependent on what you're using. So it appears that, when you're around the age of about 11, you begin with kind of profuse tobacco use, or you can do, which by the time you're 13 has moved in tobacco and cannabis use. So now there's a polydrug use problem, so there's more than one drug use. So now that's a bigger issue. So when you mix two different drugs together, the risk is higher. And it seems that from about 12 to 13, that's what's happening. Young people are not just using one drug anymore, they're using more than one drug. So if you get a stimulant and a depressant drug used together, there's a yo-yo effect on the heart, and it really becomes quite serious. It slows, the heart gets slowed down, then speeded up, and these things are a problem, especially when the person is so young. So and then when you move up to 14 and 15 and 16, then you, in some cases, there's a move to cocaine use and MDMA and ecstasy use, and these things, when young people are particularly doing these things uninformed, the risk is very high. The way we work is we work collaboratively with the young person, not confrontationally. You don't really get anywhere with confrontation in a young person. But if you can build a relationship of trust and a therapeutic alliance between you, and, because in some cases, you are the only adult that young person has ever trusted sometimes. So you have to use that really carefully, and you have to support the young person through that really difficult time. That, we're not born taking drugs. So, something's happened, or some things have happened, and so it's about dealing with the young person holistically. So there's comorbidity, there's lots of things going on there. There's not just drug use, and at Motivate, that's what we do with all of our clients. We holistically look at what's going on, so we will support all areas of the young person's life as much as we can. And we will also see the young person in places that work for them. Like if the home is a place that's comfortable for them to be seen, then we'll go there. But if it's not, we will see them in school, or we will see them somewhere else, or they can come to the office. So it's really very much about what works for them. And there are one-on-one. It is a one-on-one. So if the person, as the person builds that young person builds that relationship of trust, you then are able to help them and support them in the way that they need. We follow the Fraser guidelines also, which means that we don't need parental consent to see the young person. If the young person is compass mentis enough to appreciate and understand who we are and what we do, we will then see that young person. And we also have a hub on a Tuesday evening from 3:30 till 5, or late afternoon. After school is only in Douglas at the moment, just on Finch Road. And the idea of that is a very kind of relaxed environment where young people can come and they can have a go at the interactive things that we have there. Like we'll have remote control cars and beer goggles, and we'll get them to drive those so that they can appreciate that under the influence of drugs and alcohol, when you sit behind a wheel and you think you can manage to do this, you actually can't, and this is what's happening. And so when you catch them when they're not doing those things, and you explain to them, this is what can happen to you, the message can get across, because you've got to make it real life when you're talking with them about things, because otherwise there's a disconnection and they just don't get it. So yeah, obviously, like Thea has said, we're a confidential service even for young people, unless they are at harm or risk of any kind, or somebody else is, and then we make it very clear to them that we would have to notify the appropriate service.